The massive ship of the Galactic Empire hung in Earth's orbit like a dark cloud. Its size blocked out the sun for those on the ground, casting an ominous shadow over the blue planet. Inside the United Nations building in New York, world leaders sat in tense silence. They waited for the alien ambassadors to arrive. At exactly noon, a bright light filled the room. When it faded, 3 tall, blue-skinned aliens stood before the assembly. Their eyes, completely black, scanned the room. The one in the middle, wearing a shiny silver robe, stepped forward. "Greetings, humans," it said in a voice that sounded like metal scraping on glass. "I am Zax Thor, High Ambassador of the Galactic Empire. We have come to offer you a place in our great civilization." The room stayed quiet. The alien didn't seem to notice. It went on. "Your planet will be under our protection. In return, you will give us your resources and obey our laws. This is a great honor." Suddenly, a woman stood up. It was Dr. Sarah Chen, the brilliant scientist who had led Earth's secret defense project for the past decade. "And if we refuse?" she asked, her voice steady and strong. Zax Thor's face twisted into what might have been a smile. "Refuse? My dear, you misunderstand. This is not an offer. It is simply how things will be." The room erupted in angry shouts. The aliens looked surprised for the first time. They clearly hadn't expected this reaction. Just then, the doors burst open. A group of soldiers rushed in, led by General Marcus Stone. They quickly surrounded the aliens, weapons raised. "I think it's time for you to leave," General Stone said, his voice like steel. Zax Thor looked shocked. "You dare threaten us? Do you not understand our power?" Dr. Chen stepped forward. "Oh, we understand power very well," she said. Her eyes gleamed with a secret knowledge. "That's why we're giving you an ultimatum. Leave Earth's solar system now, or face the consequences." The alien ambassador laughed. It was a harsh, grating sound. "Consequences? You are children playing with sticks. We have conquered 1,000 worlds. What could you possibly do?" Dr. Chen smiled. It was not a friendly smile. "Would you like to find out?" For a moment, doubt flashed across Zax Thor's face, but it quickly disappeared. "You have made a grave mistake," it hissed. "The full might of the Galactic Empire will descend upon your world. You will beg for mercy." "No," said General Stone. "You've made the mistake. Earth is now off limits to your empire. Spread the word. Any alien ship entering our solar system will be considered an act of war." Zax Thor's eyes narrowed. "You cannot ban the Galactic Empire. We go where we please." "Not anymore," Dr. Chen said. She pulled out a small device and pressed a button. Suddenly, a hologram appeared, showing Earth surrounded by a shimmering shield. "This is just a taste of what we can do. The next time you see it, it won't be a hologram." The alien stepped back, clearly unsettled. Zax Thor tried to hide its surprise. "This changes nothing. We will return, and you will regret this day." With another flash of light, the aliens vanished. As soon as they were gone, the room burst into chaos. People shouted questions, demanded explanations. General Stone raised his hands for quiet. "I know you all have questions," he said. "But right now, we need to prepare. The Empire won't take this lying down." Dr. Chen nodded. "We've bought ourselves some time, but we need to be ready. The real fight is just beginning." As the leaders of Earth began to plan their next move, high above the planet, the massive alien ship turned and moved away. But everyone knew this was not the end. It was just the beginning of humanity's greatest challenge. In the coming days, Earth buzzed with activity. Military bases around the world went on high alert. Scientists worked around the clock, fine-tuning their secret weapons. And in homes everywhere, people looked up at the sky with a mix of fear and determination. The message spread quickly across the globe. Earth had banned the Galactic Empire. Entry was forbidden. Humanity had drawn a line in the sand of the cosmos. Now they had to prepare to defend it. As night fell on that historic day, Dr. Chen stood at a window in her lab, looking up at the stars. She knew that out there, the Empire was probably already planning its return. But for the first time in her life, she felt a fierce pride in her species. Today, humanity had stood up to the bullies of the galaxy. Whatever came next, they would face it together. The Galactic Empire had no idea what they had just started, but they were about to find out. Earth was not just another planet to be conquered. It was humanity's home, and they would defend it at all costs. The sun was just rising over the Rocky Mountains when Dr. Sarah Chen's helicopter touched down. She stepped out, her lab coat flapping in the wind from the rotors. Before her stood a massive hangar, its doors sealed tight. This was Area 52, Earth's most secret research facility. As Sarah approached, a retinal scanner checked her eyes. The huge doors slowly opened with a deep rumble. Inside, hundreds of scientists and engineers were hard at work. But Sarah's eyes were fixed on the center of the room. There, floating in a containment field, was a glowing blue crystal the size of a car. This was the heart of Earth's secret weapon, the quantum shield generator. General Stone met her at the entrance. "Good morning, Dr. Chen. I hope you're ready for a long day." Sarah nodded. "The Galactic Empire won't wait. We need to be ready." They walked towards the crystal, passing rows of complex machines. Sarah's mind drifted back to 10 years ago, when it all began. It had started with a crashed alien scout ship in the Sahara Desert. The world's top scientists, including Sarah, were called in to study it. What they found changed everything. The ship's computer contained data on thousands of alien civilizations. Most had been conquered by the Galactic Empire, but a few had resisted, using advanced technology. Earth's leaders made a decision. They would prepare in secret for the day the Empire came. For a decade, Earth's best minds worked tirelessly. They reversed engineered alien tech and made new discoveries. The quantum shield was their crowning achievement. It could create an impenetrable barrier around the entire planet. Sarah's assistant, Dr. Tom Lee, rushed up to them. "Dr. Chen, we've detected multiple ships entering the solar system. They're heading for Mars." General Stone's face hardened. "So it begins. How long until they reach Earth?" Tom checked his tablet. "At their current speed, about 48 hours. Sarah took a deep breath. "Then we have 48 hours to get the shield fully operational. Let's get to work." The next 2 days were a blur of activity. Scientists made final adjustments to the quantum shield. Military forces around the world prepared for battle. And in every home, humans waited anxiously for news. In Washington, D.C., world leaders gathered for an emergency meeting. The U.S. President, Li Wei, stood to address them. "Friends, the moment we've prepared for is here," she said. "The Galactic Empire is returning, thinking they'll find an easy conquest. But we are not the same world they left a few days ago. We are united, we are prepared, and we will not go quietly." Cheers erupted from the assembly. For the first time in history, all of humanity stood as one against a common threat. Back at Area 52, Sarah and her team worked around the clock. The quantum shield was almost ready, but they were running out of time. "Energy levels are stable," Tom reported, "but we're still having trouble with the southern hemisphere coverage." Sarah rubbed her tired eyes. "Rear out power from the backup generators. We need full global coverage." Suddenly, alarms blared throughout the facility. General Stone's voice came over the speakers. "Attention all personnel. Enemy ships have entered Earth orbit. Prepare for possible engagement." Sarah's heart raced. They were out of time. She turned to her team. "This is it, people. It's now or never." With trembling hands, Sarah entered the final command sequence. The massive blue crystal began to spin, glowing brighter and brighter. Energy coursed from it to transmitters around the room. Outside, people around the world looked up in awe. A shimmering, translucent dome began to form in the sky, expanding rapidly to cover the entire planet. In orbit, the Galactic Empire's ships approached Earth, weapons charge. But as they neared, they hit an invisible wall. No matter how much power they used, they couldn't break through. Back in Area 52, Sarah and her team cheered. The quantum shield was working perfectly. Earth was safe, at least for now. General Stone clapped Sarah on the shoulder. "You did it, Doctor. You've given us a fighting chance." Sarah smiled, but her eyes were serious. "This is just the beginning, General. The real battle is yet to come." As night fell, Earth glowed under its new protective shield. Humanity had revealed its secret weapon. Now the stage was set for a conflict that would determine the fate of not just Earth, but the entire galaxy. Admiral Zexnar of the Galactic Empire stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Starbreaker. His tentacles twitched with anger as he stared at the blue planet below, now covered by a shimmering shield. "Impossible," he muttered. "How could these primitives have such technology?" His second-in-command, Captain Yara, approached cautiously. "Admiral, our weapons have no effect on the shield. What are your orders?" Zexnar's eyes narrowed. "Send in the vortex breaker. Let's see how their shield handles that." On Earth, in the control room of Area 52, alarms blared. Dr. Sarah Chen rushed to the main screen, her heart pounding. "What's happening?" Dr. Tom Lee's fingers flew over the keyboard. "They're bringing in a new ship. It's huge." The screen showed a massive ship emerging from hyperspace. It was shaped like a giant drill, its tip glowing with strange energy. General Stone's face was grim. "That must be their secret weapon. Get ready, people. This is where we find out if our shield really works." In space, the vortex breaker positioned itself above North America. Its tip began to spin faster and faster, creating a swirling vortex of energy. With a blinding flash, it fired at Earth's shield. The impact was tremendous. The shield flickered and buckled under the assault. In Area 52, scientists scrambled to reinforce it. "Divert all power to the impact zone," Sarah shouted. Sweat beaded on her forehead as she worked furiously at her console. Tom looked up, his face pale. "If that thing breaks through, it'll devastate the entire continent." Outside, people watched in terror as the sky seemed to crack above them. The shield was holding, but barely. In Washington, D.C., President Lai Wei addressed the nation. "Stay calm, citizens of Earth. Our best minds are working to protect us, but we must be ready to fight if necessary. This is humanity's moment to stand united." Back on the Starbreaker, Admiral Zexnar watched with growing frustration. More power to the vortex breaker. "I want that shield down now." The alien weapon intensified its attack. The shield began to glow red-hot at the point of impact. In Area 52, Sarah had an idea. "Tom, remember that resonance frequency we discovered in the alien data? What if we use it against them?" Tom's eyes widened. "It's risky, but it might work." They quickly reconfigured Earth's defense systems. Just as the shield was about to fail, they sent out a powerful burst of energy at the exact frequency of the vortex breaker's systems. In space, the massive alien weapon suddenly stuttered. Its energy vortex collapsed in on itself. Before Admiral Zexnar could react, the vortex breaker exploded in a spectacular fireball. The bridge of the Starbreaker erupted in chaos. "Impossible," Zexnar roared. "How could they defeat our ultimate weapon?" On Earth, cheers erupted in Area 52 and around the world. The shield had held. Humanity had won its first battle against the Galactic Empire. Sarah collapsed into her chair, exhausted but elated. General Stone patted her shoulder. "Well done, Doctor. But this is just the beginning." In the days that followed, news of Earth's victory spread across the galaxy. Other subjugated species watched in awe and hope. For the first time in millennia, someone had stood up to the Empire and won. Admiral Zexnar, however, was far from defeated. As his fleet retreated to regroup, he sent a message to the Empire's capital. "Send everything," he said. "This primitive world has powerful secrets. We must take them at any cost." On Earth, the celebrations were tempered by the knowledge that the Empire would return, stronger than ever. But now, humanity had hope. They had proven they could stand against the mightiest force in the galaxy. In Area 52, Sarah and her team worked tirelessly to improve their defenses. They knew the next attack would be even more devastating. As she looked at the star map showing the Empire's vast territory, Sarah felt a mix of fear and determination. "We've won a battle," she said to herself, "but the war has just begun." Across Earth, humans prepared for the biggest fight of their existence. The Galactic Empire had underestimated them once. They wouldn't make that mistake again. But neither would humanity. The stage was set for a conflict that would change the fate of the entire galaxy. The Grand Hall of the Galactic Council buzzed with nervous energy. Representatives from 1,000 worlds sat in tiered seats, their eyes fixed on the central platform. There, Emperor Zoxvarda of the Galactic Empire paced back and forth, his usually blue skin turning a dark purple with rage. "How?" he bellowed. "How could one primitive planet defeat our mightiest weapon?" The room fell silent. No one dared speak. Finally, a small green-skinned alien stood up. It was Kiptora, representative of the Xyloxians, a race long oppressed by the Empire. "Perhaps," Kiptora said softly, "we have underestimated the humans." Emperor Zoxvarda's eyes narrowed. "Careful, Kiptora." Such words could be seen as treasonous. Meanwhile, on Earth, the mood was cautiously optimistic. In New York, the United Nations had called an emergency session. Representatives from every nation crowded into the assembly hall. Dr. Sarah Chen stood at the podium, addressing the world's leaders. "The quantum shield held against their strongest attack," she said. "But we can't let our guard down. The Empire will be back, and they'll be angry." In the audience, General Stone nodded grimly. He knew the real fight was yet to come. Suddenly, the big screen behind Sarah lit up. An alien face appeared. It was Kiptora of the Xyloxians. "People of Earth," the alien said, its voice trembling, "I come to you in secret, at great risk. Your victory has given hope to countless worlds under the Empire's boot. We want to help you." The assembly hall erupted in excited chatter. President Lai Wei stepped forward. "We appreciate your offer, Kiptora. But how can we trust you?" Kiptora's large eyes blinked sadly. "You can't. Not fully. But know this, the Empire's cruelty knows no bounds. If Earth falls, hope dies for all of us." As the UN debated this unexpected turn, trouble was brewing in the Empire. Admiral Zexnar had been summoned before the Emperor. "You failed me, Admiral," Zoxvarda hissed. "Perhaps I should find someone more competent to lead our forces." Zexnar's tentacles curled in fear, but then an idea struck him. "My Emperor," he said carefully, "perhaps we're approaching this wrong. Why use force when we can use politics?" The Emperor's interest was piqued. "Go on. Earth's victory has inspired rebels across the galaxy. But what if we could turn the humans against each other? Offer deals to some nations, threaten others. Divide and conquer." A slow, cruel smile spread across the Emperor's face. "Clever, Admiral. Very clever. Make it happen." Back on Earth, the first signs of the Empire's new strategy appeared. Some nations received messages offering advanced technology in exchange for breaking away from the global alliance. Others received threats of targeted attacks if they didn't surrender. In Washington, D.C., President Lai Wei called an urgent meeting with her advisors. "They're trying to divide us," she said, her face grim. "We can't let that happen." Dr. Chen, who had been invited to the meeting, spoke up. "Madam President, I have an idea. What if we could communicate with the whole galaxy, show them that Earth stands united?" The president leaned forward, intrigued. "How?" "We've been studying the Empire's communication technology. With some modifications to our quantum shield, we could turn it into a galaxy-wide broadcast system." General Stone nodded approvingly, a show of strength and unity. I like it. As Earth prepared its message to the stars, tension grew across the galaxy. Many worlds watched Earth closely, wondering if this small planet could really stand against the mighty Empire. In a secret rebel base on a distant moon, Kip Torra met with other resistance leaders. If Earth succeeds, he said, hope shining in his eyes, it could be the beginning of the end for the Empire. One of the other leaders, a tall, crystalline being, spoke up, and if they fail, it will be the end of all resistance. We must be ready to help them, or to run if they fall. As the fate of the galaxy hung in the balance, billions of beings on countless worlds turned their eyes, tentacles, and sensory organs towards the small blue planet that dared to stand against the Galactic Empire. On Earth, humanity stood at the crossroads of history. Their next move would either unite them as never before, or tear them apart under the Empire's pressure. The entire galaxy waited, wondered, and hoped. The silence of space was shattered as thousands of Imperial warships dropped out of hyperspace near Mars. At their head was the Devastator, Admiral Zexnar's new flagship. It was twice the size of any other ship, bristling with weapons. On its bridge, Zexnar's tentacles twitched with anticipation. "Begin the attack," he ordered. "Let's see how Earth's precious shield handles this." On Earth, alarms blared in every major city. In the control room of Area 52, Dr. Sarah Chen's fingers flew over her console. "They're here," she announced, her voice tense but steady. "And they've brought an army." General Stone stood beside her, his face grim. "How many?" "At least 10,000 ships," Sarah replied. "Maybe more." The general nodded. "Then it's time. Activate Operation Slingshot." Across Earth, hidden launch sites rumbled to life. Massive doors slid open, revealing sleek spaceships unlike anything humans had publicly built before. These were Earth's secret fleet, constructed in the decade since they discovered alien technology. As the Imperial fleet approached, Earth's quantum shield glowed brighter. But this time, it didn't just defend. Huge sections of the shield opened, allowing Earth's ships to stream out. In space, Admiral Zexnar's eyes widened in shock. Impossible. Where did they get a fleet? The space between Mars and Earth erupted in a spectacular light show as the two armadas clashed. Earth's ships were outnumbered, but they were more agile and packed with surprises. One Earth ship, call sign Thunder One, dove straight for a group of Imperial cruisers. As the alien ships fired, Thunder One seemed to blink out of existence, reappearing behind them. "Quantum jump successful," the pilot reported. Engaging targets. The battle raged for hours. Imperial ships fell by the dozens, then hundreds. But Earth's fleet was taking heavy losses too. In Area 52, Sarah worked frantically to coordinate Earth's defenses. Suddenly, her screen flashed red. "General," she shouted, "the Devastator is charging some kind of super weapon." On the Devastator, Zexnar laughed maniacally. "Fire the planet cracker," he commanded. A beam of blinding energy shot from the Devastator, heading straight for Earth. It hit the quantum shield with devastating force. The shield held, but it was clearly weakening. "Shield integrity at 60%, and falling," Tom reported, his voice shaking. Sarah's mind raced. Then she had an idea. "The resonance frequency. We can use it again." She quickly explained her plan to General Stone. He nodded and relayed the orders to Earth's fleet. In space, the remaining Earth ships began to move in a strange pattern. They fired their engines in short, rhythmic bursts, creating waves of energy that rippled through space. On the Devastator, alarms blared. "Admiral," a crew member shouted, "some kind of energy wave is disrupting our systems." Zexnar's face contorted in fury. "Impossible. Fire the planet cracker again." But as the superweapon charged up, the energy waves hit it. The weapon's power turned back on itself. The Devastator shuddered, then exploded in a blinding flash. A cheer went up from Earth's fleet, Without their leader and strongest ship, the Imperial forces fell into disarray. As the battle turned in Earth's favor, something unexpected happened. Ships from other alien races began to appear. It was Kip-Tora and the rebel alliance he had gathered. They joined the fight, targeting the Empire's ships. Caught between Earth's fleet and the rebel reinforcements, the Imperial Armada began to retreat. Ship after ship jumped to hyperspace, fleeing the battle they thought they would easily win. In Area 52, exhausted but triumphant cheers filled the control room. Sarah slumped in her chair, hardly able to believe what had just happened. They had done it. They had defeated the Empire's grand invasion. But even as Earth celebrated its greatest victory, Sarah knew this was just the beginning. The Empire had been dealt a severe blow, but it was far from defeated. And now, Earth had shown the galaxy that it was a force to be reckoned with. As the remaining Earth ships returned home and the quantum shield sealed once more, Sarah looked out at the star-filled sky. The galaxy had changed forever, and humanity was now at the center of that change. The great space battle was over, but the war for the future of the galaxy had only just begun. The grand throne room of the Galactic Empire's capital world, Zox Prime, was in chaos. Emperor Zox Varda sat slumped on his throne, his blue skin pale with shock. Around him, advisors and military leaders argued loudly. Silence. The Emperor finally roared. The room fell quiet. How did this happen? A hologram appeared in the center of the room, showing the devastation of their fleet near Earth. The Emperor's eyes narrowed. These humans are more dangerous than we thought. We must crush them, no matter the cost. Meanwhile, on Earth, the mood was one of cautious celebration. In the White House, President Lai Wei met with world leaders and military commanders. Dr. Sarah Chen and General Stone were also present. "We've won a great victory," the president said, "but the war is far from over." "Dr. Chen, what's our next move?" Sarah stepped forward, her eyes bright with excitement. "Madam President, I believe it's time we take the fight to the Empire. We have the technology, and now we have allies." She gestured to a hologram showing Kip-Tora and other alien rebels. "With their help, we can liberate worlds under the Empire's control." General Stone nodded. "A bold move, but risky. We'd be extending ourselves far from Earth." "True," Sarah agreed, "but it's also our best chance to weaken the Empire before they can regroup." After much debate, the decision was made. Earth would go on the offensive. In the following weeks, Earth's fleet, now joined by rebel allies, jumped from system to system. They targeted key Imperial strongholds, freeing enslaved populations and destroying military installations. On the jungle world of Vextor, Earth Marines fought alongside furry Vexterian rebels. They pushed through dense foliage, their advanced weapons making short work of Imperial defenses. "I never thought I'd see the day," a Vexterian leader said to a human captain. "Thank you for giving us hope." In the mines of Zoral 5, Earth ships broke through Imperial blockades, bringing food and supplies to the starving Zorelian workers. As Imperial guards fled, Zorelians cheered the human liberators. With each victory, more alien races joined Earth's alliance. The Empire, once seemingly invincible, was being pushed back on all fronts. But the Empire wasn't defeated yet. On Zox Prime, Emperor Zox Varda made a desperate decision. "Activate the Stellar Annihilator," he commanded. His advisors gasped. "But, Your Majesty," one protested, "that weapon could destroy entire star systems. It's too dangerous." The Emperor's eyes flashed with madness. Better to rule over ashes than lose to primitives. Back on Earth, Sarah received an urgent message from Kip-Tora. "The Empire is moving a superweapon," the alien warned. "Something that could destroy whole systems. You must stop it." Sarah quickly relayed the information to the President and General Stone. "If this is true," the general said grimly, "we need to take it out fast." A plan was quickly formed. Earth would launch its most daring mission yet. a direct assault on Zox Prime itself. As Earth's fleet prepared for the jump to the Empire's homeworld, Sarah worked tirelessly to modify their ships. "If we can adapt our quantum shield technology," she explained to the fleet commanders, "we might be able to counter this new weapon." The night before the mission, Sarah couldn't sleep. She stood by a window in Area 52, looking up at the stars. So much had changed in such a short time. Humanity had gone from a simple life on Earth to fighting a war across the galaxy. "Quite a view, isn't it?" General Stone said, joining her. Sarah nodded. "I never imagined we'd come this far." "Having second thoughts?" the general asked. Sarah shook her head. "No. We've seen what the Empire does to worlds it conquers. We can't let that happen to anyone else." As dawn broke, Earth's fleet, along with ships from a dozen alien races, prepared to jump. This would be the biggest battle yet, a fight that could decide the fate of the galaxy. On the bridge of the flagship, now named Earth Force One, President Lai Wei addressed the fleet. "Today we fight not just for Earth, but for every world that has suffered under the Empire's tyranny. Today we bring freedom to the stars." With a flash of light, the ships vanished into hyperspace, heading for the heart of the Empire. The final battle was about to begin. The sky above Zox Prime erupted in flashes of light as Earth's fleet, alongside their alien allies, dropped out of hyperspace. The planet's defenses immediately opened fire, filling space with deadly energy beams. On the bridge of Earth Force One, President Lai Wei stood tall. "All ships, engage as planned. May fortune favor the brave." The battle that followed was unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. Earth ships, empowered by Dr. Sarah Chen's modified quantum shield technology, dove through the Imperial defenses. Alien allies provided crucial support, their unique technologies complementing Earth's strategies. Meanwhile, on the planet's surface, Emperor Zox watched in growing panic. "Activate the Stellar Annihilator," he screamed at his technicians. "Destroy them all." Deep within a mountain, a massive weapon began to power up. Its energy readings were off the charts, capable of destroying entire star systems. Back on Earth Force One, alarms blared. Energy spike detected. An officer shouted, "It's the super weapon." Dr. Chen, working frantically at her console, looked up. "We're ready." Activating quantum resonance field. Now, a shimmering wave spread out from the Earth ships, enveloping the entire battlefield. As the Stellar Annihilator fired, its immense energy beam hit the field and vanished. For a moment, everything went quiet. Then, cheers erupted across the Allied fleet. The superweapon's energy had been absorbed and dispersed harmlessly into subspace. Taking advantage of the Empire's shock, Earth forces and their allies pushed forward. Marine dropships landed on Zox Prime, deploying troops directly into the capital. General Stone led the ground assault, fighting alongside humans and aliens alike. "Push forward," he yelled over the sound of battle. "The palace is just ahead." In the throne room, Emperor Zox found himself surrounded. Earth Marines, rebel aliens, and even some of his own people who had turned against him blocked every exit. President Lai Wei, flanked by Dr. Chen and Kip Tora, entered the room. "Emperor Zox, she said firmly, "your reign of tyranny is over. Surrender now." The Emperor, his arrogance finally broken, slumped in defeat. "How?" he whispered. "How did you primitives defeat us?" Dr. Chen stepped forward. "We're not primitives. We're humans, and we had something you never understood. Unity, creativity, and the will to fight for freedom, not just for ourselves, but for all." In the days that followed, news of the Empire's fall spread across the galaxy. Countless worlds celebrated their newfound freedom. But with freedom came new challenges. Representatives from Earth and hundreds of alien worlds gathered on a neutral planet to discuss the future. The debates were long and sometimes heated, but eventually, a new galactic alliance was formed. Unlike the old Empire, this alliance was based on mutual respect and cooperation. Each world would govern itself, but all would work together for the common good. Earth, as the catalyst for this change, was given a leading role. But President Lai Wei was careful to ensure power was shared. "We didn't fight to become the new empire," she said in her address to the First Galactic Council. "We fought so all could be free." As the new era began, Dr. Sarah Chen found herself looking up at the stars once again. But this time, she was on a distant world, helping to set up a new research center where scientists from across the galaxy would work together. "Quite a change from where we started, eh?" General Stone said, joining her. Sarah smiled. "It's more than I ever dreamed possible, but our work is just beginning." Stone nodded. "There's still so much to explore, so much to learn. But now we do it together, as part of something greater." As they watched, a ship took off, heading for the stars. It bore the symbol of the new Galactic Alliance, a blue and green Earth, surrounded by stars representing other worlds, all linked together. The galaxy had changed forever. The era of the Empire was over. In its place stood a new order, born from Earth's defiance and humanity's spirit. As ships from 100 worlds streaked across the sky, one thing was clear. The future was bright, and it belonged to all.